You've had a free day and just struggle to switch off. You finally convince yourself you need some rest and, you can enjoy your weekend or you can enjoy that Friday afternoon. And before you know it, you feel guilty, you feel restless, you feel like you should be doing something and you struggle to break out of that. Then often you find yourself just checking emails, checking messages, or any of those things that kind of make you feel busy. Because if you do this video, it's for you and you're not alone, because this is one of the biggest topics I see, one of the biggest problems I see with driven people, ambitious people, successful people. We end up being so conditioned to be on all the time. Being off is a problem. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 very quick, very powerful mindset switches that if you nail, you can start winning your time off back and feel way, way better when you go back into work. The first one is this whole idea of rest. Now, I see all the time online people saying, it's just part of being an entrepreneur, part of being a business owner, a busy professional. You just can't switch off, which is nonsense. That's usually said by people who literally just can't switch off. But the reality is this. One of the biggest mindset problems I see is that you start to see rest as a reward. The trouble is with seeing rest as a reward. When I get all my stuff done, I can rest. Is that when you're a busy professional, when you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, the work is never done. And you may feel that. You may see that. I know in my life, in running businesses, I know in working with people who run businesses and people who in big corporate jobs, there's always something left to be done. There's always something coming up. There's always more that you can do. The work is always there. So when you start convincing yourself, well, rest is a reward for getting all my work done, you will always feel guilty for taking some time because you should be doing some work. You'll always feel uncomfortable because you've got that other stuff to do. And the switch is, you've got to see this. Rest is not a reward. Rest is a requirement. It's the requirement to performance. If you cannot recover well, you cannot work well. In fact, ultimately, our ability to focus, our ability to produce is dictated by how well we've recovered. And so as much as we can all convince ourselves, and I'm sure you may be there, where you go, no, I don't need to do that. You might be doing well in spite of that, not because of that. So the answer is rest is not a reward. Rest and recovery, more specifically, is a prerequisite for the best performance possible. You wouldn't have an athlete who you just blitzed into the ground and expected to perform as well. It wouldn't work. You have to see yourself like that athlete. And ultimately, the fresher you go into work, the better quality of energy and focus you have to go into work. At that point, the more productive you are. And that is always the answer. How productive can I be? The answer to that isn't do more. It's do better. And the answer to that is recovery comes first. So ask yourself, are you caught up in the trap of feeling guilty and off because you seem to think that rest is a reward for when you've done everything? Or remind yourself, there's never going to be a point where everything's done. So I have to start prioritizing my recovery, because really and truly, it allows me to perform at my absolute best the next day. So following on from that, you might see that if you look at your life, look at your day right now, your week, you might see that most of your day, your week is output. It is answering, replying, creating, producing, picking some kids up, dropping somebody off, cooking something. It's this whole siege of output. And that's brilliant. The more you can output, the more value you create in the world. But to follow up from point 1, how can you output without taking some inputs in? One of the things I see a lot with people we work with is their week is obviously very output driven. But if you look at the ratio to how much input am I taking? How much time is there for me? How many inputs am I making into me? Physically, mentally, emotionally? How many inputs am I having socially? What am I doing to power up this battery of mine? How can I expect to recover? And the reason I say this is when you have time off, if you do not fill that time and you leave it blank, you've probably been there, same as me. What am I going to do today? I don't know. What are we going to do? All of a sudden you don't do anything. And for the busy, demanding person who still has plenty they need to do or could do, that blank space feels like a waste. It feels like, hey, I've got better things to be doing. I should be working. But if you fill your blank space, if you fill that time that you have created to rest and recover and all the rest of it with stuff, things you're excited about, things you want to do, things you enjoy, not just things that are good for you, like go to the gym or all the other amazing things, breathing, meditating that you could do. Go and fill it with stuff that you want to do. And if you fill the blank space you've created with stuff you want to do that excites you, that feels good, I guarantee you will not be stuck thinking, I've got better things to do. You'll be enjoying that. And that is the biggest shift. It's point number 2. If you are going to be super organized with all of your outputs and, get them dialed in and you know what you're doing, then give yourself exactly that on the inputs. Give yourself that level of, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Create plans that excite you, create things that are useful, and you will not find you struggle to switch off and enjoy your free time. So the third one is a bit deeper, and it's probably, I'd say, one of the biggest ones I see in all coaching, which is on some level, if you cannot stop, if you need to keep driving forward, it's commonly, not always, because you've learned to correlate your self-worth as an individual, your worth as a person, with how hard you work, like a badge of honor, or with what you produce. And so to be good enough and to feel like you succeed, and you have to be producing all the time. And maybe that's been picked up through, young childhood, early adulthood, where you realize that the more you do, the more praise you get. But on some level, we've identified with that work as just all we are. And that doesn't mean to say you have to switch that off and not get a lot of self-worth from what you do. Of course not. Who would say that? Two things can exist at the same time. So you can go, yeah, I get a lot of worth from what I produce. But if that's actually crucifying you and burning you out, then remember, on the flip side of that, where else do you get your worth from? What else in your life gives you a sense of identity and purpose? Because if it's just the one thing, then unfortunately, you'll always struggle to switch off. You'll always feel off when you get that free time. You want to think, where else do I get my self-worth? What other identities, parts of my identities are there? What other roles are there in my life? Be it parent, friend, partner, where you go, yeah, I get a lot back from that. I give a lot, but I get a lot. Because then we become more rounded. But if we're all about trying to prove the world wrong, which is a lot of us, when I started, I want to make a point, I want to get out there and prove myself. But eventually, who we prove is not proving ourselves to. If we're constantly trying to prove it to ourselves, that is lonely, it burns us out, it makes no sense down the line. So if you've attached to too much self-worth to you, how hard you work and what you produce, and that that's what makes you a good person, and it's debilitating to you, it's no longer serving you because you can't ever switch off and enjoy other parts of life. Start asking yourself, okay, what can I do that feels good, that gives me more self-worth? Or whatever roles in my life can I start to invest in and start to see that I am more than just what I produce? And so there's always videos popping up on here. If that's made sense, there'll be videos to help you around energy, around burnout, whatever one you can relate to. Click one of the videos up here, like and subscribe, and we will see you on the other side.